What's up, everybody? Ending off the week with some pin squats and conventional deadlifts and then some accessories. So today the pin squats went kind of meh. The top single was harder than it normally is. Now, in staying with the theme of the program that I'm doing, when things feel harder on the indicator sets like they do here, the following sets are supposed to be easier, and normally that takes the form of me reducing the weight a little bit, but where my protocol for this last day is 4 sets of 4 to 5 reps on the back down, so I just kept it at 4 reps, and that seemed to hit the RPE target of 7 to 8 pretty easily. So I just kept it there, and we'll see what it's like next week. But if there's a consistent, I guess if the RPE for the indicator set stays at a 9, which is higher than what it should be, then I'll think about changing it up a little bit weight-wise. But for now, we'll see what happens. And but yeah, basically kept 4 sets, 4 reps, 315. Again, I know I mentioned it in a previous episode, but pin squats are absolutely punishing for me, so I don't see myself going up in weight with those anytime soon. But yeah, after that, moved on to conventional deadlifts. One thing I do want to talk about today is the difference in training styles for different purposes, and what that usually takes the form of is body-centric training versus movement-centered training. The real goal of powerlifting is to get incredibly good at 3 specific movements, meaning the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift. And usually that is just represented by training those same movements in close variations. But there is something to be said for body-centric training, meaning focusing on body parts. So let's take the squat for an example. If you're trying to get a really good squat, the best bang for your buck is just going to be to squat more. It's going to be to do different squat variations and close variations of the squat you're trying to get good at, whether that's a front squat, a high bar back squat, or a low bar back squat, or any kind of squat really. Doing close variations of that same movement and the movement itself is what really is going to get you strong in that specific movement. But then there comes the question of, okay, so what are the different body parts involved with that movement? And some common ones that people would identify would be glutes, quads, that kind of stuff. And so is there a place to specifically focus on those body parts versus the movement? And in my opinion, if your goal is strength and you're only focused on getting stronger at a movement, I don't necessarily think you need to focus so much on developing specific body parts, because by training those specific movements in different variations, you're already getting some sort of a stimulus to those body parts itself. And by hyper-focusing on individual body parts, you could be increasing the demand for recovery when your next squat session rolls around. Now, the conversation will change a bit, in my opinion, if you are focused on developing some massive quads or massive lower body or any body part related to that specific movement. Because at the end of the day, really all you need to do if you want a 6 set of legs is to just train your legs more. Focusing on different movements that bias particular muscle groups that you want to get better is probably going to be the best bet if you want to have really big quads. Then you would just train your quads, or a squat variation that heavily biases the quads, like narrow stance, heel elevated, safety squat, bar squats, or like front squats. But you don't necessarily need to get better at those movements to get big legs. You just need to train it more, right? There's a reason why there's weight classes in powerlifting that these really light powerlifters are outlifting massive bodybuilders. It's because their goal is to build strength instead of building a big body. It's just different purposes. However, blaming particular muscle groups for strength deficits as it relates to the powerlifts probably isn't the best bang for your buck you're going to get. And it's likely not that accurate, because there's at no point in a squat where you're only using your quads. There's at no point in your squat where you're only using your glutes, and the same argument applies across all 3 lifts. It's just a weak area of a range of motion. And to get over that, really the best thing you got to do is just train that range of motion over and over again. A really popular version is pause squats or pin squats, anything like that, or something that isolates that movement within the movement. Anyways, thanks for listening, guys. Take care.